It's you again.
Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you.
What's up? What is it today?
Oh, I brought you in a really amazing piece of American history. If it wasn't for this book, we'd probably all be speaking with English accents today.
Okay.
It was printed in Philadelphia in 1779. The book itself is called The Regulations for the Order and Discipline of the Troops of the United States. This was really the first drill book for the United States Army. It taught them how to be soldiers.
Actually, it's pretty amazing.
I keep coming back to the shop because they have a genuine interest in books and they pay fair prices. It's hard to find books that are so important in American history in their original state. This was the American Revolution. Who would have thought of saving a book when you had to worry about your life? I mean, these were a bunch of ragtag soldiers, and they're fighting a professional British army. So in 1777, Washington withdrew to Valley Forge for the winter encampment. And they didn't know what to do. They were losing men. They were very unhappy. General Washington almost lost his position as commander-in-chief. So they brought in this very famous Prussian military officer to start training the American troops, Baron von Steuben.
So you're saying this book was written by von Steuben?
Yeah. This was really a turning point. This allowed General Washington to train his troops, showing them how to use things like bayonets, teaching them in weapons. Here's really one of the first times you think of a modern army, think of attention. At this word, the soldier must be silent, stand firm and steady, moving neither hand nor foot.
Yeah, he was absolutely amazing with the troops and basically transformed, you know, the citizen farmer soldier into a soldier.
Exactly.
Some people say that von Steuben just showed up one day looking to get a job. Others say that he was recommended by Ben Franklin himself. Either way, he whipped the American soldiers into shape, and we kicked some British ass.
There's plates at the back of the book, which are quite interesting. This actually shows the layout of the camp.
Okay.
You know, one of the things that he wanted to implement was, where do you put the quartermaster? Where do you put the surgeon? Where do you put the kitchen?
Okay.
This wasn't obvious to, you know, untrained Army cadets.
Very, very interesting. Do you know if it's the first edition? Do you know how many editions there were?
There were many editions because it became such an important book. It really became what's called the Blue Book of the American Army. It was issued to many of the soldiers. But this is the actual first edition from 1779, first time it was printed.
All right. So I'm assuming this is the original binding. The paper's right. And this is all handmade paper.
Sure.
I mean, it looks rough, but it's almost 250 years old. I mean, my problem is just figuring out a price.
Yeah, I understand completely. I'm looking for $6,500 for it.
I don't know if that's absolutely an insane number or a fair number. You've met Rebecca before. Let me get her down here to take a look at it.
It's a great number. Don't even bother calling her. So.
That just makes me want to call her even more.
Sure, you got
Give
it.
me a few minutes.
No problem. I'm happy he's going to call Rebecca again. I mean, she really knows her stuff. Sometimes she's come in lower than I would have liked for books in the past. I can only cross my fingers, you know, and hope this time.
You brought me another book?
The original field manual from the Revolutionary War by von Steuben himself.
The Baron. Okay. This is a very cool book. The Baron actually is a really cool character in himself. He was in the Prussian army under Frederick the Great, so he had a good amount of experience in one of the world-famous armies. So Washington said, all right, here are 100 men. Drill them and show me. So the Baron did and proved himself. The Baron's Regulations was essentially the manual that standardized everything dealing with military troops and discipline. Washington was a brilliant general, but that means nothing if the soldiers won't follow his orders.
So now, is this the first edition?
Listen, there were 5 editions published during the American Revolution alone. 1779, Steiner and Sist. These are the Philadelphia publishers. It has the plates, everything in place. It is a first edition.
Okay.
It's miraculous that this book would survive, and I really like it.
Okay.
I kind of want it, but...
Okay. I know different books are graded on condition differently. This book with someone's name scrawled across the front of it. And...
Yeah. Rick, here's the thing. A book in the original boards, to the uninitiated, often kind of looks trashy. But this is the original binding put on by the binder Robert Aitken in 1779.
Okay.
that is exceptional by itself. Any collector of Americana, American Revolution, they're going to want this, and they're going to want it bad because you don't see copies, okay?
Okay.
So I mean, I'd give it a healthy price. I would put the retail up at $18,000.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I like that.
Okay.
I would.
Surprisingly high, more than I expected.
This book completely deserves it.
I should have never called you in.
Yes,
This thing is incredibly rare. It's not something you run into very often at all. So even for me, I handle rare books everyday basis, and this is something that I haven't seen.
So she said a lot of people really want it very badly.
Yes.
The only question is, how badly do you want it?
So I'll give you the $6,500.
Well, now that I heard the expert's evaluation, I mean, I want to be fair to you and everything. What about 12,000?
You know how it is. I mean, the more expensive it is, the longer it sits.
This is a very important book.
It's a very important book. I know that just the way Rebecca acted. Let me give you 10 grand for it. I think 10 grand is fair.
I'll make it simple. 11, right down the line. That's a very, very fair price. You would be under British taxation if it wasn't for this book. You have to pay 11 for it.
I'll tell you what. Next time you're in here with a book, you're going to give me a little better deal. I'll give you 11 grand. All right? I was definitely not intending to spend $11,000 on this book. But I have to admit, this is beyond cool. I might have to make this a Christmas present to myself. Earlier today, I had a guy come in with a silver spoon he claimed was made by Paul Revere. If it's real, I really, really want it. So I called in my buddy Dana to authenticate it.
Hi, Rick. How are you?
Well, this is what I called you about.
That's the Paul Revere spoon.
Well, it says Revere anyway. Could be Bob Revere, I don't know.
There are a lot of fakes and reproductions, so you have to be extraordinarily careful. I'm an expert in early American history and artifacts. So, Rick, what are your concerns about this piece?
Everything looks like it could be old, but I'm not going to put out money until I know.
Oh, absolutely. When inspecting the spoon, one has to look at the patina, the authenticity of the coin silver, the engraving of the decoration, and the hallmark punch that's on the back. And this appears to be coin silver. The patina is lovely. It's original and natural, so whatever's developed here doesn't appear to be fake. And it's got a lot of wear on it. This spoon was used.
Yeah.
And it has a really nice decoration with the initials PK. What people don't know, for the most part, about Paul Revere was that he was a prolific engraver, and he actually engraved plates for the printing of paper money of Massachusetts and New Hampshire during the Revolutionary War period. Looking at your punch mark, that's really a critical part of this whole equation, whether or not it was made by Paul Revere. When inspecting the spoon, most importantly, one has to look at the hallmark punch that's on the back to make certain it's absolutely authentic. This looks good. It looks like it's the real deal done by Paul Revere. But there were two Paul Reveres, you know that. There's Paul Revere Sr. and then Paul Revere Jr., who was the famous Paul Revere, the one with the midnight ride. He became an apprentice to his father and took up the family trade as a silversmith. This Paul Revere tablespoon is absolutely authentic, but you also have to determine whether it was Paul Revere Sr. or Paul Revere Jr. who made the spoon. A spoon by Paul Revere Jr. is typically more valuable because of his fame and his patriotic endeavors during the American Revolutionary War. I brought this monograph called Paul Revere Goldsmith from the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. In the back page here, you'll see that there are all these different designs of known hallmarks used by Paul Revere Sr. and Paul Revere Jr. So let's take a look at the hallmark. It's really nice and sharp, nice and clear, and all of the fonts match up. This looks like it's the real deal done by Paul Revere Jr. Sweet.
You're absolutely certain?
I would buy it. Collectors would love to have this, and they're rare.
So here's the big question. What's it worth?
A lot of the spoons that you see at Paul Revere are about 4.5 or 5 inches long, and those are little teaspoons. This is a big tablespoon. If this was going to be in one of our auctions, I would estimate it to be somewhere in the vicinity of $12,000 to $18,000.
I like you.
That's what my wife says.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in, Dana. This spoon is amazing. It should be in a museum, but it's not. It's in my shop, and I'm going to do everything I can to get it. Okay, here comes the fun part. What do you want for it?
Well, I'd like to see 15 grand.
When I sell it, I'd love to see 15 grand. All right, so 7 grand cash. Deal.
Hey, come on here. Let's tap dance a little bit here.
You mean 8 grand?
Man, you're killing me.
Will you take 9 grand for it?
95 and you got a deal.
All right, 9,500.
You got a deal.
Let's go do some paperwork.
We settled for 9,500, and that will help out immensely. So my daughter's just going to have a wonderful wedding.
I am so happy we were able to make a deal. It's going to look great in the showcase, and it's going to bring a ton of history buffs into my shop.
What do we got here?
What I've got is a 1861 Confederate coin that was from the shipwreck SS Republic.
Oh, I do love coins.
The SS Republic. Yeah, I know all about these. It's really cool because he was actually a cabin boy on the show.
Oh, was he? What's up with all the old jokes, Rick?
You're old.
Not that old.
Well, my Confederate $half and was part of the shipwreck that they found in 2003. I'm a coin collector and I've had it for a number of years. My interest is getting as much money as I can, but I like to have at least $800.
Really interesting coin. These got a great history. Basically what happened is back in the day, there was a mint in New Orleans. The U.S. government's minting coins down there, and all of a sudden a war breaks out. The rebels take over the mint and proceeded to continue making coins. England didn't want to sell the South guns. They didn't want to take paper money. They didn't want to take bonds. They didn't want to take anything like that. They wanted hard money, gold or silver, because they thought the South might lose. So that's why they needed these coins. When the Civil War was finally over, the Union shipped all the coins made at the New Orleans Mint up to New York so they could be inventoried. And when the South needed money for reconstruction efforts, they sent the coins back down to New Orleans on the USS Republic.
When the USS Republic was built, it was a revolutionary design.
Yeah, this was literally one of the most high-tech ships in the world. It was just sort of a coincidence that these Confederate coins were going back down to New Orleans. They got caught up in a hurricane. The ship just got so beat up, there was no saving it, and it went down. But I believe they discovered it in 2003, started bringing the items up in 2005. When they brought them up, they all had damage, and this thing was in salt water for a long time, and there's some corrosion on the coin.
Well, and I agree with you, but to me, that's what gives it prominence is the fact that it has that saltwater interaction effect, so you know for sure that it was buried at sea.
How much do you want for it?
Well, I've seen them go on the internet, anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500.
Okay.
They go for.
Do you mind me asking what you paid for it?
I paid right at $600.
So you got to ask yourself, someone sold it to you for $600, why didn't they sell it on the internet for $2,000? I've seen these go for like $400 or $500. The problem is there was 57,000 of them, I believe, recovered. I can pay you $400 for the coin. That's what it's worth.
How about $425?
No, 400 is my best offer. And the reason I'm going that high is they sell quick.
Well, you really hurt me. You know, my wife spends more than that at the casino. You've got a deal.
All right, walk right over here and I'll write you up. I'm okay with only making $100 off this coin. All I have to do is put it out in the showcase and my work is done.
What do you have?
Well, I have FDR film footage from 1882 to 1945.
Okay, I don't think you have enough film footage here for that. That's it's almost 60 years of film.
Decided today to come to the pawn shop to try and sell this FDR footage that I have. If it's footage that's never been seen before, I feel the value of it is unlimited.
Where'd you get this?
Well, my husband's cousin died, and that was in his stuff.
Okay, and do you have any idea what's on it?
We've never watched the film.
You could possibly have a very expensive Holy Grail type item here.
This isn't the first time someone's come in here with FDR footage. We've had it before, but we've never had film that shows something that nobody's seen before. That would be worth a pile of money.
FDR was one of the greatest presidents that there was. Social Security, the Second World War.
All behind the scenes being in a wheelchair because of the polio he had when he was a kid.
Right.
And to say how well people like this guy, I mean, they elected him 4 times. They actually made a constitutional amendment that it can't happen anymore. This guy literally could have been king of the United States if he would have stayed alive long enough. Do you mind if I open it up?
No, you go ahead, open it up.
Okay. I mean, is there any relationship to the White House in
No.
your family that you can
No.
think of? So, I mean, theoretically, it could be Frank DeRoe.
It could be.
Pretty much all we have to go on here is it says FDR, 1882 through 1945.
Yep.
That was his lifespan, Corey.
Yep.
If this is unseen footage of FDR, it could be insanely valuable. You would have historians and collectors literally fighting over it.
We're dealing with a lot of unknowns here. I'm gonna call in a buddy of mine, Mark Hall Patton, and we'll set it up and watch a movie together. Sound like a date?
Yes, it does.
All right, thanks a lot. Bring the popcorn.
Thank you. They tell me they're going to bring in an expert to view this footage, and I'm hopeful that it's worth a great deal of money and it's original.
Mark Hall, my man.
How you doing? I've been dealing with artifacts of many different varieties for 35 years now in various museums.
So here's what I called you about.
Okay.
Supposed to be FDR footage.
Have you ever seen it? Do you know what's on
I've never
it?
seen it, no.
Okay, yeah, that's regular 8. The one thing I can tell you right now is it is not from 1882. Because they didn't invent 8mm film until 1932.
Okay.
Roosevelt was president from 32 till 1945. So it is quite possible. A lot of people did shoot just home footage of him. But there was also a lot of commercial movies done because he was so famous and so well known, and it was such an important period in our history. FDR was our first and only 4-term president. He came along right at the beginning of the Great Depression. He also ended up being our wartime president for World War II. This was a man who really changed the United States. If somebody happened to be in a place where they could catch him involved in something fairly unusual, if he was trying to walk, for example, but he could only do that when he was leaning on somebody's arm because he was so crippled from the polio.
Better yet, footage of him in his wheelchair.
Yes, absolutely, because he did not want to get filmed in a wheelchair. Do you have an 8mm projector?
Yes, I do.
All right, well, we can go take a look at it.
That's great. I like to see what's on it.
Come on, Corey, let's go watch this.
I'm really interested in seeing what they have in store here, because if this is original footage, this could be very interesting. Could, in fact, be quite valuable. If it's something that we haven't seen before, this could be very important.
Let's roll it, Mark.
That's FDR, all right. But, yeah, this is not original footage.
So what it looks like is maybe a mixture of campaign footage and kind of a story of his life, pretty much all stock commercial footage.
It's a biography of him, but it's a commercially produced biography. There would have been a number of them produced. It's probably in public hands at this point. What this is basically just a documentary. This is like what you'd buy on DVD today.
I just don't think we're going to be able to do anything with it.
I can understand. I was hoping that it was original, you know, non-seen footage, but in watching it, the quality of the film is really good, so I'm going to donate it.